GM owners are completely losing faith, and after seeing this, you'll understand why it's only getting worse. A brand new 2026 Chevy Traverse that won't start the day after purchase. A GMC Denali towed in for lifter failure while the owner watches from the transmission shop waiting room. An engine replaced 3 months ago, already leaking again. And GM CFO just announced subscriptions will fundamentally transform the business, starting with removing CarPlay and charging you $14.99 a month just to use Map. Bell subscribe. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, and everyone help.
Back there is the brand new Escalade 2026, one working headlight. Wow.
Just could not imagine sitting in the transmission shop waiting to pick up my car from transmission issues, and all these GMCs are sitting here, and one just pulled in on the tow truck.
Brand new GMC CL 1500 Denali just broke down. Bad lifted failures. Come on, GMC CL 1500. Start, come on. Come on. You see the engine? Come on. You still beat your truck. Start. Start.
They just fucking put a brand new motor on that shit. They just put it 3 months ago, an engine.
He's sitting in a transmission shop waiting for his own GM repair. While he's waiting, another GMC gets towed in. Lifter failure. Brand new Denali. And then he shows the engine they just replaced 3 months ago. Already leaking. Already back on the table. 3 months. That's how long a brand new GM engine lasted before it needed to come apart again. The transmission shop isn't fixing one GM. They're basically a GM dealership at this point.
This message is for whoever created the 1.4 liter turbo EcoTech motor and the people at Chevrolet. The f is wrong with you, huh? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Because everyone knows, look, everyone knows. The valve covers leak, the intake manifolds go out because the PCV system gets clogged up, and the PCV line goes bad. And what's missing here is the turbo, because the turbo's over here. I already replaced the turbo. There's the cat, because we had to pull the cat off to be able to pull the turbo off. And we only have to pull the turbo off, although we replaced the turbo like 6 months ago. All of a sudden, the oil cooler down here where it mounts against the block is leaking and pissing all over the floor. So it goes through, I don't know, about a gallon of oil a week, and now I have to tear it all back down and fix it again. So Chevy, from the bottom of my heart, go f yourself. Hard. And I would love absolutely nothing more than to take this back to the dealership that my old lady got it from. But they did such a good job bending her over and her without lube that guess what? We're like $8,000 upside down. Thanks, Chevy.
Turbo replaced 6 months ago. Now the oil cooler is leaking. A gallon of oil a week. Have to tear the whole thing apart again. And the part that stings, they're $8,000 upside down on the loan. Can't trade it in. Can't sell it. Too deep in the hole to get out. GM didn't just sell them a bad engine. They sold them a situation they can't escape from. That's not a car payment. That's a trap with a monthly installment plan.
If you see that right there on a car you're looking at, run away. You don't want to own one of these 3.6 V6 GMs because they all blow up. I feel bad for everybody who bought one of these Traverses, Enclaves, Acadias, and I'll tell you why. That's a 2015 with 90,000 miles. I'm going to take you out here real quick to that white one. On my way to that white one over there, what do we have first here? Another Chevy Traverse. 122,000 miles on it. Guess what? Bad engine. Let's go to the next one over here. This one is the Saturn Outlook version. Same engine. 139,000 miles on this one. And guess what? Bad engine. Oh, but wait, there's more. 122,000 miles. Chevy Traverse LTZ. 122,000 miles. You guessed it. Bad engine. We get these every single day because the motors go bad. And if you own one of these, I feel really bad for you because, yeah, they were a nice car when they were new, but GM just put a lousy motor in them and they all blow up. So if you've got one of these, good luck. And if you're looking at buying one of these, go buy yourself a Honda Pilot. Talk to you guys later.
Same engine, 3 different cars, 3 different names, same result. Traverse, bad engine. Acadia, bad engine. Enclave, bad engine. Saturn Outlook with the same engine, bad engine. The mechanic gets them every single day. GM put the same lousy motor in 4 different vehicles, gave them 4 different names, charged 4 different prices, and every single one ends up in the same shop with the same problem. The advice at the end was simple. Go buy a Honda Pilot. He didn't say maybe. He didn't say consider it. He said go buy one.
Tell you what, General Motors can go itself up with the claw end of a goddamn hammer. 2016 GMC Terrain with the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder in it. I had one of these, the 2.4, in 2010, my daughter's car. Took out 2 timing chains in that motor. This is a 2016. I'm like, checking around, GM should have had their shit figured out after having the same motor for 6 years. Guess not. Took the timing chain out of this one as well. And on top of that, when I go start tearing it apart, I don't know if you can see it back here or not, but there is a really nice crack in the exhaust manifold. Plus a bolt down in there that I can't get anything on to get off. So I've been a GM guy my entire life. This is the last goddamn GM I will ever own. The piece of shit. Jesus Christ.
Well, for some stupid reason, I keep driving GM products, and me. This has got 2 fuel tanks, and it hauls around about 70 gallons of fuel because it gets about 6 miles a gallon. I just put new fuel pumps in it, and it's dead on the side of the road because it's out of fuel, because it refuses to pump fuel from the rear tank to the front tank. So there's 40 gallons of dead weight on the back of the truck that won't pump to the front tank. So I devised a handy dandy little trick. You see this right here? You pull that out, and if you look on there, oh, I need to jump pin 87 to pin 30. Oh, look at that. You shove your little paper clip in there, and you let them run for a little bit. But I bet I get in here and it starts. Ah, look at that. You GM and your goddamn electronic bullshit and your pumps that don't work. Why do I keep buying GM products?
I just bought my Chevy Traverse yesterday, 2026, and it won't start. I've tried to jump it, tried to do all of the things, and it won't work. I even tried to start it on the app, and it won't start.
One of the biggest fall-offs throughout the entire history of the automotive industry has got to be with GM trucks and SUVs. And it still blows my mind that a company that used to build absolute tanks in the 90s and 2000s, I'm talking about the GMT 400s, the GMT 800s, those old Vortex small block Chevy V8s, even the early LS V8s, could go from building things like that to what they're building now. And look, the older ones had their issues, but those issues pale in comparison to what the modern GM vehicles are experiencing. Back then, you might have to replace replace a sensor, a fuel pump, or maybe even a 4L60 4-speed transmission. But today, some of these new trucks and SUVs can't even make it 20,000 miles out of the factory without a catastrophic engine failure. That is insane, especially considering how expensive these things are. And don't even get me started on the horrendous 6, 8, and 10-speed transmissions. It's like every new generation adds 2 more gears, yet they forget to address the same issues that have been plaguing these transmissions since day one. I mean, the 10-speed has been so notoriously bad recently that Allison has literally told GM, get our name off of your transmission. We want nothing to do with that monstrosity, and that should tell you something. And you might ask yourself, why do people keep buying these products? And well, it's honestly pretty simple, and it's just the fact that GM is coasting off of their old reputation. People remember the bulletproof trucks that their dad and grandpa used to have and think that the new ones are built to the same standard, and sadly, they're not. The GM of today is nothing like the GM that built those rock-solid rigs back then. It is just crazy how times have changed.
Bought yesterday, won't start today, not 20,000 miles in, not after a year, the next morning. And here's what makes this worse. GM used to be different. GMT 400, GMT 800s, those old Vortec V8S, engines that ran forever with basic maintenance. The same company that built those is now building truck that can't make 20,000 miles before catastrophic engine failure. And Allison, one of the most respected transmission manufacturers in the world, told GM to remove their name from the 10-speed transmission. They wanted no association with it. When the company that built the transmission tells you they want nothing to do with it, that's not a red flag. That's the answer.
General Motors will be facing a class action lawsuit over faulty transmissions. The order comes from a federal appeals court, and the lawsuit claims that over 800,000 2015 through 2019 Cadillac, Chevrolet, and GMC vehicles were knowingly sold by GM with defective 8L45 or 8L90 8-speed automatic transmissions. Customers have also allegedly complained about shuddering and shaking issues when their vehicles are in higher gear, as well as a hesitation or like a lurching problem in lower gears, even after repair attempts. The lawsuit also accuses GM of telling dealers to go ahead and just assure their customers that harsh transmission shifts were normal, and that GM would cover transmission flushes for customers experiencing the issue during the warranty period without actually fixing the underlying issue. Now, this next thing is obviously anecdotal, but I had a few vehicles with the old 8-speed transmissions, and I never had any real issues with them. The older 6-speed transmission, though, that thing always drove me crazy. It always seemed to kind of like...
Y'all, never get a Buick. Never get a Buick, and never get a Buick from Twins Buick in Columbus, Ohio. Because I just got this car, and when I tell y'all, I have been having issues since I got it. I'm talking about, I was on my birthday, whole car shut the down, sitting on the side of the road. So do not come here. Don't get no raggedy ass Buicks.
I hate the Buick Envista because what do you mean? The taillights are down there. They're supposed to be up there. Buick, get it together.
This feels like it's going to end badly. General Motors CFO just told Automotive News that subscriptions are going to, quote, fundamentally transform their business. The removal of CarPlay in GM vehicles to be replaced with their own Paywalled software, for example, isn't new news. But the way that they're ramping up this next phase feels like one of those historic mistakes we're going to look back on and point as at the exact moment where things went in the wrong direction. Perfect example of why. Using maps in your GM vehicle is going to require either paying a subscription fee you never needed before or digging out the old suction cup phone mount like it's 2014. I'm sorry, but abusing your captive audience because you know that they're not going to buy a new car when they find out that they can't use maps, so they'll just pony up the $14.99 per month, is not innovation. It feels more like a hostage situation. Seems like a business model that's going to have aftermarket car stereo companies booming again, because who wants that? How many times do we have to do this before we learn that just paywalling something that already exists for free and forcing this inefficiency is not a good business model? And don't even get me started on how this means that the actual car itself is going to become an afterthought.
GM's CFO used the words fundamentally transform. What that means in practice, the maps that came free on your phone, that worked perfectly, that everyone already knows how to use, now require a $14.99 monthly subscription inside your GM vehicle. They removed CarPlay, replaced it with their own software. and then put that software behind a paywall. One journalist called it exactly what it is, a hostage situation. GM knows you're not going to buy a new car just because they locked your maps. So you'll pay the $14.99 every month. Forever. The only people winning here are the companies that make aftermarket car stereos. Because nobody wants this. And GM is doing it anyway. GM used to build trucks people pass down to their kids. Now they're building vehicles that don't start the day after purchase, engines that need replacing every few months, and software that charges you monthly for features your phone already does for free. The reputation they're coasting on belonged to a completely different company. That company doesn't exist anymore. Subscribe if you want to keep watching. And tell me in the comments, do you still trust GM? Because based on everything in this video, the answer seems pretty clear.